It is your English-speaking friend, Kyle, and I am on a sand dune. What is a sand dune? Well, it's basically like a mountain or a hill, and it's made out of sand. Sand does not feel good when the wind blows it in your face. This is a sand dune, guys. And this place where we are today is called the Indiana Dunes. It's one of my favorite places to be, and maybe some of my hardcore fans have seen me record videos here before, but I've never made a video specifically about this beautiful place, okay? And the coolest thing about this beautiful place is it's about 10 minutes away from my home, but people from all over the country and world come here to see this natural wonder that is the Indiana Dunes. So the Indiana Dunes is this huge piece of land where there's miles of these mountains made out of sand, and today we're gonna explore it all. Let's see what we could find. Alright guys, so the Indiana Dunes is one of the biggest freshwater dune systems in all of the world. And what does that mean? That means that if you want to see this much sand anywhere else in the world, the only places you will find it are in big deserts or by an ocean or sea. So let me show you guys one of my favorite things about the Indiana Dunes. What I really love about this place is that you can come here and get some great exercise. So I'll show you guys one of my favorite places in the whole world to come and run, right over here. Now around here, guys, we call these the stairs of West Beach. And I have some interesting stories about these stairs, but let me show you guys one of the best workouts that you can get anywhere around where I live. The stairs of West Beach. All right, guys, so what this is called a trail map. And like I said, this is one of my favorite places to come and get exercise because there is miles and miles of trails, places you can walk, hike, run, and this is a map to show you where you are and where you can go from here. So we are gonna do the hard one, the stairs, but if you wanted, you could take this trail right here and walk through the dunes in this part that looks like a desert. But we're gonna be extreme and go up the stairs. Come on, pregnant wife. All right, guys, now I'm gonna show you what I used to do here when I was in way better shape than I am now. And what being in shape means is that you're physically fit, you can run, you can lift weights, things like that. I'm not super unhealthy right now, but I was in way better shape. Let me show you why I was in good shape, because I used to do stuff like this several times a week. All right, we made it to the top of the stairs, and as you can see, the view here is beautiful. This is one of the first places I showed my lovely wife when she came here to the US and to Indiana to visit me for the first time. I brought her here because this has always been one of my favorite spots, guys. I'd run up here, sit, look out at the lake. That's Lake Michigan. We're gonna get a better view of that later and tell you guys all about it. But not only is Indiana Dunes a beautiful place just to come see nature, but there's a lot of interesting history in these dunes as well. And one thing that people don't know about this place, it's haunted. Camera wife looks scared. So haunted, guys, means that there's a ghost or a spirit. Ooh, okay? And there is a ghost here. The ghost of who? Diana of the Dunes. So guys, this here shows an interesting piece of history from this part of Indiana and this park in general. This woman right here, her name was Alice Mabel Gray, but they called her Diana of the Dunes. She lived out here, guys. She had a little shack that she built and lived out here in these woods. And Alice, she was a feminist, she was a free spirit, and a free spirit means that you do what you want, okay? People reported seeing a woman bathing herself naked in the lake. So this crazy lady lived out here. She would run around naked at night and take baths in the lake. And they say that after she died, her spirit still stays here, walking around the dunes. I don't know if her ghost is naked or not. Still a cool story. All right, guys. But this is not the best view here. Even though it's an incredible view, I think there's a better view here. So come on, camera wife, let's check this out. Now, something very interesting, guys, about the dunes is over here, you basically have a desert, okay? Sand, little leaves, tiny trees, but then it also goes into a forest. So you get so many different ecosystems all right next to each other. And for that reason, the dunes is one of the most studied places in all of the United States. There's tons of different animals, tons of birds, tons of insects, tons of plant life. For that reason, scientists spend a ton of time researching all of the different life that you will find out here in the dunes. So let's go see what we can find. And now, just a few short moments of walking later, we're in the middle of the woods. So guys, the word woods means like forest, not necessarily a jungle, but any place where there's tons of trees. Trees are made of wood, or wood is made of trees, I guess. But when we say we're in the woods, we mean we're in a place like this, surrounded by trees. And you guys know the woods is one of my favorite places to be. All right, guys, now that we walked through the woods, we are at my favorite view here. And guys, look at this. You can see just how giant Lake Michigan is. And don't worry, we're gonna get a better view of the lake. But from up here, you could see, guys, this literally is what it looks like when you're standing by the ocean. You cannot see across. You cannot see to each side. You could see Chicago from here, guys, which is an hour drive. Wow. And another thing that I love, here you can see these pine trees, and that's what I was talking about, the diversity of all the different life here. So turn around real quick, baby, and show them those trees. So over there, guys, you can see that those trees, they lost their leaves. They're all brown, and that's because it's not summer yet, so the leaves haven't grown back. Maybe where you live, it's nice and warm and the trees stay the same all year, but here, when it gets colder, they lose their leaves. However, pine trees, which are also called evergreens because they are always green, they stay green all year round, even in the winter. And that's what I like about being right here, guys. You've got two different ecosystems depending on which way you look. Wow. This place is so much nature packed together, guys. It's incredible. You've got the sand dunes that look like a desert. You've got the woods right there you could walk through. And you've got a pine forest over here. And then you've got one of the biggest lakes in the whole world. And you could just see how huge it is. And I've got some interesting facts for you guys about that lake. I'll tell you when we get there. Let's keep going. All right, guys, and after just a couple more minutes of hiking, here we are at Lake Michigan, and you could just see how giant and beautiful this lake is. It's incredible, guys. This really feels like what it felt like when my wife and I were in Puerto Rico swimming in the ocean. It even looks like an ocean. Incredible. So, guys, this is not just a beautiful lake, it's a very important lake, okay? The Great Lakes are made up of 5 huge lakes, and Lake Michigan is one of them. Lake Michigan is the only one that is completely in the United States. The rest share part of their borders with Canada. But why Lake Michigan is so important? Well, guys, you could kind of see Chicago back there. On a clear day, you could see it very good. But Chicago uses the lake for almost all of its water supply, guys. And in fact, the Great Lakes together make up 20% of the fresh water in the entire world, guys. Super important. Super important. Not just for the people around here, but the people all over the country. So that's why Lake Michigan is so important today. We get most of our fresh drinking water from Lake Michigan. Tons of fish are caught here every year. But not only are we going to learn about why Lake Michigan is important today, let me take you guys back in time for an ancient history lesson. All right, guys. So how about this ancient history lesson? How did this giant lake, the size of a sea, and bigger than many countries. Guys, Lake Michigan is bigger than many countries, thousands of miles. How did this lake end up here, and how did all this sand come here? Well, what you're seeing here, guys, with the lake and the dunes is basically the leftovers from the last ice age. Okay, I want you guys to use your imagination with me. This was once a mountain of ice. Glaciers, guys. Glaciers, giant mountains of ice as far as your eyes could see. But as the temperature started to rise, the ice age started to end, the glaciers started to melt and come down this way from Canada. As the glaciers came this way, they brought everything with them. Giant boulders, rocks, and as they were moving along, they crushed them into the sand. So guys, as you look out into this incredible view, you're seeing 10 to 15,000 years of natural history. Thank you guys for being here with us in this powerful moment. But this is not all that we have to show you today, guys, because not only this incredible history from thousands of years ago, the dunes have so much more to offer, and we're going to show you one of my favorite spots. All right, guys, as you can tell, the scenery has changed again. Now we're in a field, but this is still part of the Indiana Dunes National Park. And we're going to check out something cool, something with a little bit more modern history, more modern than the Ice Age. Okay, we're going to check out an actual farm that was created here in the 1800s by Swedish immigrants. All right, guys, and why they decided to come here is because the land here is fertile, which means you can grow crops like corn, wheat, potatoes, things like that. And it's close to the lake, so you have fresh water. So people from all around the world came to this area to start over and build a new life. Today we are going to see what Swedish immigrants built and how they lived over 200 years ago. Let's go. All right, guys, the first cool thing I want to show you, which is a good piece of vocabulary. You see these guys out here? Those are called scarecrows. And you put them in places where you grow corn or other things that birds like to eat. And what they do is they scare the crows. And a crow is a species of bird that likes to steal the farmer's crop. It'll come here and eat up all the corn. So you build some scarecrows, and the birds are not smart enough to see that and think, oh, it's just a scarecrow. They think it's some guys standing out there. So it keeps the birds away and keeps them from eating all of your corn. Scarecrows. All right, guys, here we have another great piece of vocabulary for those of you who maybe live near or on farms. This is a fence, and this right here is barbed wire. It's sharp. Ow, ow, it's sharp. And what it does is it keeps the animals inside, because if they try and get out, it sticks them, it stabs them, and ow, hurts. But be careful, guys. My wife got hurt by this when she was a kid. Right, baby? This is what, she has a scar on her side because she didn't stay away from the barbed wire. So don't go near barbed wire, guys. That's some farm vocabulary for you. All right, guys, and here we have the farmhouse. I believe this was originally built in 1860, and the family, the Kjellbergs, lived here, the Swedish immigrants. This is where they made their lives. They took care of all this land without electricity, without running water, just a family and hard work. So that, I guess, is the original American dream. And the government keeps it here as a monument to show us the history of this land and show us how people have been living here for hundreds of years. And here we have the chickens, guys. Now this one here is the rooster, and the rooster is the male, and he is staring at us, telling us, hey, you better leave my girls alone. If you come in here and try and mess with my ladies, I will scratch you, I will peck you with my beak. Roosters are very tough animals. So what we call the females are the hens. And that's why he's standing here protecting his girls. Now, if any type of animal tried to get in here and eat one of these hens, that rooster would fight to the death to protect these chickens. These are some really beautiful animals, and city workers actually come and take care of them so that we could see this historic farm in a working state. All right, guys, and you see this circle stone ring. This is where Diana of the Dunes did her witchcraft. Just kidding, guys. I don't actually know what this is. I guess it's a fire pit. Maybe this is where they burned extra wood. I don't know. If any of you guys have seen something like this and you know what it is, let me know. The only reason I don't think it's a fire pit is because it's so big. And if you had a fire that big, this close to this building would be in danger of burning or at least getting damaged. So I don't know. If you guys know what that is, let me know in the comments.
Oh.
Alright guys, this was just a small view of all the things that there are in the Indiana Dunes. I just wanted to show you guys this incredible place very near my home where you have so much diversity. You have woods, you have sand dunes that look like deserts, you have one of the biggest lakes in the world. I'm happy to share it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here, spending your valuable time with us.